I think the one piece of advice I'd offer is that having some type of prototype, some first step towards a minimally viable product is a really important way to get your point across and to get investors engaged and interested, get customers engaged and interested. So, even it doesn't have to be, it's just something you can hold up. Even it's harder with an app or something you're building, but in some ways because you have to display it. So if you're talking about a product, it's a little easier to have something that says, here is what it is. But being able to really demonstrate something is a really important step to showing people that this is real.
So I wanted to touch on social enterprises and nonprofits in general, because I think we saw a couple of examples here where the revenue model wasn't clear, or where the revenues are going to come from if it's not from the customers or the end users. So nonprofit social enterprise doesn't mean you don't have any revenue, quite the opposite, because you're going to pay for providing services to a lower price and products to the ones who need it the most. And as you might be aware of, there's this whole debate out here, if impact investing, social enterprises, can you have a mission and still make a profit? And I do believe that you can actually, and also charge a price from your customers. But to those of you who don't want to charge a price from or a cost from your end user, you have to think about where are those revenues going to come from. Are they going to be from a healthcare provider? Are they going to come from not just grants, but what are other sources of revenue? So keep that in mind.
So I think one of the most compelling things whenever people are pitching, to me at least, is when I hear the voice of the customer come through their presentation. When I hear some evidence that they've talked to the market, that they've put themselves in the shoes of the person they intend to sell to. They can really talk in detail about that customer's needs or that customer's wants. And I think we saw some of that tonight. Definitely saw some of that from teams who had clearly been passionate about their customer and had made a great effort to talk to them. So I would encourage any of you, even if you just have those who didn't pitch tonight, if you have a very early stage idea, don't toy with it in your own mind alone. Go and talk to people about it. Talk to as many people as you possibly can. And what you'll find is that you'll begin to recognize patterns in the response. And those patterns then become very valuable to you as you shape what will then become your product or your business.
Two quick observations. The first is these were excellent pitches, sort of roundly. Whoever worked with you up to this point, I imagine Bruce and others, did a great job. You're naturally given constraints. 3 minutes is not enough time, but you all did very well. There's two things that I would highlight. One is it's so basic that it's often overlooked. If you can make something for $1 and sell it for $2, you have a sustainable business. But not enough presenters talked about price, right, and cost. These things are fundamental. The second thing is think about how you engage customers, and think about if you're selling this pen, you can do the equivalent of pre-orders, right? Go to the people who would buy your product and say, if I delivered and scope it out, would you give me $75? That's a way to have a tangible takeaway from those whom you engage, and it allows you to generate momentum at an early stage. And for businesses that are just starting, momentum is your lifeline. You can't survive without it. But altogether, great job.
Okay, thank you. And so thank you again to the judges.